All right, so I'm going to walk you through the instructions for this assignment. It's a three-part assignment, but the questionnaire and cover letter are going to be worth 50 points. So it's like 25 and 25. I'm splitting up those points. And then your PowerPoint presentation that includes the chart is worth 50 points as well. I am grading accordingly. I will grade based on the rubric. I will post the rubric so that you can see a breakdown of the points, but total this is worth 100 points. You will not be allowed to revise this assignment. It is due March the 5th. I actually added time to this assignment from what was initially in my syllabus. Okay, March the 5th. I will not, unless you have an extenuating circumstance you can prove, something that was out of your control. I will not accept broken computers. I will not accept I just did not know the due date. No, that's not going to work this time. You're going to almost have 2 weeks to get this assignment done. And I can't stress enough student responsibility. Okay, I'm not going to go there in terms of student responsibility. I've communicated with you guys as best I can. So yes, March the 5th, no exceptions. I do not negotiate. When it comes to these due dates, I'm not doing that. Okay, so understand. Again, I can be easygoing, but I am very serious about students meeting expectations and being prepared for my classes. Okay. All right, so you're going to assume you have a business. So you are going to create your own logo. I will make sure to modify the instructions here. I mean, it can be just something simple. You don't have to have anything professionally done or anything. But the business will be fictitious. I do not want you to use a business name from another organization. Come up with your own business. You will also see that in the example I posted as well. Okay. So let's assume you are engaging in different forms of communication with your company and you are hearing back from customers. The customer service aspect, I'm really focused on this semester because again, we all experience customer service, be it on the customer end or even and working with the consumer. So yes, we're focusing on customer service and what the customer service is, or what the customer, is looking for. So for this assignment, you're going to, discuss ways of implementing new ideas for your business. Now you can make it whatever business you want. It could be a fast food restaurant, it could be a daycare, it can be, another type of organization. But what I'm looking for is a routine questionnaire based on a good or service, okay, that you might want to introduce to your customers. So here are just some suggestions that I provided over the years for students because I have taught this assignment before. I have not taught it in a while, but I have introduced this assignment before. And even since then, I'm going to change this to food delivery, not feed. I'm sorry. Even since then, businesses have changed. Technology has changed when it comes to businesses. So anyways, these are just examples. Let's say you have a restaurant and you want to add a new food item and your questionnaire may focus on, what kind of food items customers are looking for. For example, the chicken sandwich, Popeyes had that chicken sandwich, go crazy, and, other restaurants followed suit with adding the brioche bread and the pickles. So yeah, that's something you can think about. Let's say you have a company and you want to add a daycare. I know in the pandemic, a lot of parents are working from home, but prior to the pandemic, finding daycare for a child, your children, if you have kids, and having to work was definitely a task. Henry Ford used to have the daycare. I'm not sure they still do for students or, workers, employees. So that's something you might think about. So yeah, I'm not going to go through everything here, but I found the food delivery one to be something that's new in today's times, where it used to be, unless you were a pizza company, and, like Domino's or Hungry Howie's, where they offer delivery. But now a lot of restaurants are offering delivery due to the pandemic. So, maybe it's Uber Eats, maybe it's DoorDash, or as just a company itself offering food delivery. So that's something you can think about if you are creating a fictitious company based on a restaurant. All right, so as I'm walking you through this, remember this is in parts, right? So the cover letter will be first. This is different from a cover letter you would include for a resume. This cover letter is going to be presented to customers so that they can understand why they're doing something. Even in your careers, I'm quite sure you have been presented with surveys and questionnaires, and before you even engage in the survey and questionnaire, before you fill it out, the person sending it explains to you what you're doing and why. So that's the point of a cover letter for a questionnaire or a survey. So you do want to have salutations, dear, hello, attention. Again, some of these things I've talked about before, and some questions sometimes students are asking me is showing me that you have not read the directions. I am very clear on what I expect from students. So when I say salutation, this is what I mean. Okay. When I say closing, signature, your title, company logo, all of that is going to be included, okay? And that's why I provide the example so that you have that visual in front of you. As far as how to compose the letter, I'm not going to make you create an actual long letter that's drawn out, because one thing about people, when they are asked for their time, to volunteer their time, they don't want to spend too much time doing something. Okay. So just briefly introduce each of these paragraphs. One or two, maybe at the most 3 sentences is fine. Again, I'm not asking for anything long and drawn out. Paragraph 1, just provide a short attention getter. It could be a rhetorical question. It could be a quote. So you want to definitely, think about how to gain the reader's attention. Unfortunately, this book does not talk about this particular cover letter, so I don't have an actual example in the book, but the example that I provide you from a previous student, that one used the rhetorical question. A rhetorical question is a question that you're not looking for an answer to, you're just trying to gain someone's attention. Okay. Then you want, in paragraph 2, provide a smooth transition to the purpose of the letter. Again, I'm not giving you a sentence count. 2 or 3 sentences will work well. Paragraph 3, provide the time frame allowed for the questionnaire. That is extremely important. As the creator of a survey, you want to make sure your audience knows when to complete it, at what point to complete this. So the time frame is important. I will grade based upon that in this cover letter. Did they tell the audience what date to complete it, and how you are submitting it? Now, of course, nowadays we have SurveyMonkey or what have you, so that's pretty easy to do. But let's assume you are, handing this information out, as a hard copy document, and you might want your customer to submit it, back to the actual company, or through mail. Make sure you are clear in terms of how to do this, but you also want to make the action easy. Okay. So if it is like SurveyMonkey, you want to just make sure to tell your audience, go ahead and hit submit, right? And that's going to satisfy the requirements. So again, make sure you're reading all these guidelines carefully. Okay. Now, as far as the questionnaire itself, your book does discuss questionnaires beginning on pages, I want to say 381 in the book, maybe 382. Now, again, I'm editing here, I'm sorry. Some of you do not have this book, or maybe your book does not have the exact page numbers as mine. This is when you become self-directed as a student, okay? It is up to you to go to the index, figure out what the information is at. At this point, it's important to know how to operate your book. When you're dealing with e-text, it can be a bit difficult sometimes, but there's a search feature. So it's up to you. I'm giving you the title of this chapter and the syllabus. This is the visual media portion. Now, in my book, chapter 9, part 3. So again, you should be self-directed at this point. I can't stress that enough. All right. So in terms of the questions themselves, you want to ask questions that are only closed-ended. We have open-ended questions, we have closed-ended questions. The difference is open-ended questions allows for more conversation, which is always great and when you're talking about writing. However, in order to complete the charts, it's really important to have closed-ended questions. Closed-ended means you are asking a yes or no question. Okay, so that when you're creating your chart, your bar graph or what have you, you have that kind of data in front of you where you're not guessing. So make sure all of your questions are closed-ended. All right. And right here, these are just ways of asking yourself in terms of what are you looking for when it comes to this type of questions? Who is your audience? What is the purpose? What information? Now you are creating your own questions. All right. So let's say if you are trying to introduce a new food item, you might want to ask your audience, do you like pickles? Just as simple as that. You want a yes or no response, right? So the questions are going to be made up, and then the results, you are going to create your own results based on your chart, your bar graph, or your table, or whatever you choose to create the findings. So again, this is all made up. You don't have to go out there asking people for, their responses. You are making this up. Okay. I can't stress that enough as well. All right, so I hope the example works for you. I think it's a great example. That example, that student earned an A, and this was years ago. I don't even know what year that was that assignment was created. But if you do have questions, please let me know. Again, it's important to be self-directed as well when it comes to just little things. Again, like where is this in the book? The index is the great way to go when it comes to finding out, where information is. As far as how to, let's say, create information like the chart and the PowerPoints, I have provided screencast on those. All right. But if you do have questions, as always, please feel free to contact me.